There are basically three pictures or three scenes in this scope of the story that you and I are studying in our life groups and Sunday school classes today. In God's Word, there are three of them. Scene number one. You can look at it in chapter 3, so all go to chapter 3. Scene number one involves, first of all, a powerful king. Chapter 3, verse 1, King Nebuchadnezzar. It involves a noisy people. Look at verse 8. Therefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came forward and maliciously accused the Jews. This crowd was a noisy crowd. There were a bunch of voices. Number 3, it involved a fiery furnace. Look at verse 22. Because the king's order was urgent and the furnace overheated, the flame of the fire killed those men who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell bound into the fiery furnace. So scene one involves a powerful king, a noisy people who were very jealous, a fiery furnace, and number 4, a God solution. God showed up. All right, scene number 2. Have a look at chapter 5. Turn to chapter 5. This is the next big scene. What does scene number 2 involve? Number 1, a powerful king. Look at verse 1 of chapter 5. King Nebuchadnezzar made a great feast. Number 2, it involves a noisy people. Look at verse 7. The king called loudly to bring in the enchanters, the Chaldeans, the astrologers. He went to the crowd. It involves, number 3, a written message. Look at verse 5. Immediately the fingers of a human hand appeared and wrote on the plaster of the wall of the king's palace opposite the lampstand. And number 4, scene number 2, involves a God solution. So we've got 2 pictures already. Picture number 1, a powerful king, a noisy people, a fiery furnace, and a God solution. Scene number 2, a powerful king, a noisy people, a handwritten message, and a God solution. Well, what happened in the third picture that we're given here? Go to chapter 6. Look at chapter 6 with me. Involves, number 1, a powerful king. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 satraps to be throughout the whole kingdom. Number 2, it involved a very noisy crowd and a loud people. Look at verse 4. The high officials and the satraps sought to find a ground for complaint against Daniel with regard to the kingdom. But they could find no ground for complaint or any fault because he was faithful and no error or fault was found in him. It involves, number 3, a very hungry bunch of lions. Look at verse 16. Then the king commanded, and Daniel was brought and cast into the den of lions. Who out here today is in a den of lions? This picture here we've got involves a great bunch of very hungry lions. This was life-threatening. And number 4, it involved a God solution. All right, watch me quickly here. Just for a second, I want you to think about hearing God's voice in the crowd. This weekend at Winter Jam, we had hundreds of our young people, as you can see, but they joined together with thousands of other young people. But I'm telling you something, judging by what I've seen and heard last night, there was a whole bunch of our young people, adults, parents, chaperones, organizers that heard God's voice right in the middle of the crowd. Look what happened here in all 3 cases. There was a powerful king involved. There was a noisy crowd. There was a circumstance. There was a fiery furnace. There was handwriting on the wall. And there was a lion's den. And in all four of them, God shows up. There's a God solution.